In a vast, beautiful land called Earth, there lived the wind and the sun. The wind was so powerful and proud of his strength. He loved to show off by blowing fiercely, bending trees, and sending leaves flying through the air. The sun, on the other hand, was very gentle, warm, and patient. The sun quietly watched over the world, spreading light and warmth wherever she shone. The sun and the wind were very good friends. As they both lived in the sky, each day they took turns shining and blowing, making the earth a wonderful place to live. One day, the sun and the wind were chatting as they watched the people on earth. They noticed a little traveler walking along a dusty road. The traveler was wearing a big, heavy coat because the weather had been chilly. The wind, feeling boastful, turned to the sun and said, "I bet I can make the traveler take off his coat faster than you can." The sun smiled gently and replied, "Let's see who can do it first. But remember, let's be gentle." The wind, always eager to show off his strength, started first. He puffed up his cheeks and blew as hard as he could. The wind roared, making the trees sway and the leaves fly through the air. The traveler immediately grabbed his coat tightly and wrapped it even closer around himself. The wind huffed and puffed harder, but the stronger he blew, the tighter the traveler held on to his coat. After a while, the wind went out of breath. He had tried everything, but the traveler's coat stayed on. "Now it's my turn," the sun said with a warm smile. The sun began to shine gently at first, casting a soft golden light on the traveler. The warmth from the sun felt so nice that the traveler started to relax. As the sun's rays grew warmer, the traveler began to feel hot. He loosened his coat and then, finally, he took it off, carrying it over his arm. Now the wind watched in amazement and asked the sun, "How did you do that so easily?" The sun replied, "I used kindness instead of force. A gentle approach can often achieve more." The wind thought deeply about what the sun had said. A few days later, as usual, when the friends were chatting among themselves, the wind had a chance to try out his new approach. As he was blowing softly through a quiet village, he saw a little girl struggling to fly her kite. Every time she tried to launch it, the kite would fall back to the ground. The wind thought, "I will help her out. I'll blow with all my might to send that kite soaring high into the sky." So the wind puffed up his cheeks and blew as hard as he could. The kite flew up, but the force was too strong. The kite spun out of control, tangled in the trees, and some of them even tore apart. The girl looked very sad and frustrated. The wind was puzzled. "I was only trying to help her. Why is it not working?" he said to himself. The sun, who had been watching all these, smiled kindly at the wind and said, "Sometimes being too strong is not the answer. Why don't you try a gentler approach?" The wind got surprised and said, "But I'm the wind. I am supposed to be strong and powerful. How can I help if I am not blowing with all my strength?" The sun replied, "Kindness is not about how strong you are. It's about understanding what others need. Why don't you try again by being gentle and careful this time?" The wind thought for a moment and decided to give it a try. He waited until the girl untangled her kite and was ready to try again. This time, instead of blowing fiercely, the wind took a deep breath and exhaled slowly, sending a soft, steady breeze across the meadow. The kite lifted gently off the ground, floating gracefully into the air. The girl's face lit up with joy as her kite danced in the gentle wind. She laughed and cheered, running across the meadow as her kite soared high above. The wind felt a warm feeling inside as he watched the girl's happiness. The sun was right, he thought. Kindness doesn't mean being weak. It means using my strength in a way that helps others. He thought to himself. As the day went on, the wind continued to blow gently, helping the kite stay in the air and making the girl's day even more fun. When the evening came and the girl finally went home, the wind felt proud not of his strength but of the joy he had brought to the girl. The sun smiled and said, "You did well today, my dear friend. Always remember, kindness is the true strength that makes the world better." From that day, the wind often chose to be gentle, and he found that he was much happier when he helped others with kindness. He realized that true strength lies not in how much power we have, but in how we use it to help others. The wind understood that kindness, even when gentle, can have the greatest impact and bring joy to those around us.